My name is Kindt. I'm the founder of Signworld 32 years ago. Welcome to our webinar today. And our agenda is as follows. First, I'll introduce our panel of Signworld owners, and they'll tell you a little bit about their business. And then Jack Werner, our president and current owner today, will give us a couple of definitions. And then I'm going to show a very short slideshow, and then we're going to open it up to questions. We'll go in the order of the names on the screen. So Linda Russell, you'll be up first, then Jerry, then Rob, and on. When you ask a question, please just ask one question, and then we play round robin and move on to the next person and the next. And then if you want to ask follow-up questions, you could put them in the chat box at the bottom, or wait until we've gone around the horn one time, and then we'll open it up for additional questions. But usually in the hour's time, we'll get almost all your questions answered for you. When you ask a question, each one of our 4 Signworld owners will answer your question one by one. So you're going to get 4 answers to each one of your questions. Make them simple, make them short, make them open-ended, and I think we'll get some great information. So let me introduce our panel. First is Alex Maurer. Alex, you want to give us a wave? Okay, Alex, how many years have you been a Signworld owner?
4 years in June.
4 years. And how many square feet are you in?
2,000.
And how many employees are you up to?
We have three employees.
And what is your projected gross sales for this year? If you go back to January when you first made your projection, what were you looking at?
1.2 million.
Okay. And Alex, tell everybody, what did you do before you went into the sign business?
So I spent 22 years in the advertising world. I was a director of client service for a national advertising agency that had an office here in Pittsburgh. So my job essentially was marketing strategy with corporate clients.
Okay. Next is Don Conklin. Don, give us a wave. Don is located in Beaufort, Georgia. Don, how many years have you been a Signworld owner?
Coming up on 9 years.
Right. And how many square feet are you in?
12,400.
12,400, of which 3,000 or 4,000 was just a recent addition to the building that you own.
Yeah, 3,400 was just added up.
So how many years were you in business before you bought your building?
5 years before we bought our building.
Okay. And how many employees are you up to now, Don?
It's either 17 or 18. Sometimes it's hard to keep track. We've actually hired during this downturn. I think it's 17.
Before, at the beginning of the year, what did you project as gross sales for the year?
3.6.
3.6 million. Okay. And Don, what did you used to do before you went into the sign business?
I was in customer service and operations for the phone company, AT&T.
Okay. Ben King. Ben, give us a wave. Ben is a Signworld owner in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Ben, how many years have you been in business now?
That's a little over 3 years. It'll be 4 this December.
Okay. And how many square feet are you in?
Just a little over 2,000.
And how many employees are you up to now?
I have 3 with a 4th starting as soon as the shelter in place is lifted here.
Okay. And at the beginning of the year, what did you set your projected gross sales at?
$1 million.
I'm sorry, 1 million?
Yep.
And Ben, what did you used to do before you went into the sign business?
I was a senior director for Target Corporation for 15 years.
Got it.
Big box retail management.
Okay. And last but not least is Jack Werner. Jack, give us a wave.
Hi, everybody.
Jack, what's your story?
I started my Signworld operation in 1995, 25 years ago, 1,200 square feet. In the days before the internet, it was Yellow Pages. We were more of a retail model then, so Signworld changed quite a bit since then. I started with one employee. I ended up in 5,000 square feet 10 years later, doing 1.3 million in sales. Then sold that operation and went into a partnership arrangement with Ken for about an 8-year period where I learned his end of the business. And then I finished buying him out just short of 5 years ago, just short of 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago. And so when I answer questions today, if it goes more to my experience running a Signworld operation, I'll speak from that perspective. If it goes more to training and policy and things from the corporate level, I'll answer from that perspective. So depending on the question, will determine my answer. Ken was the founder, and as mentioned, he stayed on as our VP of sales and other duties and sales training and other things. So unique operation that we have here. I want to give two definitions for you. For those of you that are joining us, whether you're looking at Signworld as a business or you're a business coach that's come to understand us better, Signworld is set up not as a franchise, but as an owner's alliance. We believe a franchise is appropriate if it's in an industry that's dominated by big names, if it's a cookie cutter approach to every customer the same and marketing to the masses. That doesn't fit to the sign business. This is custom manufacturing to corporate customers in an industry that's totally fragmented. There is no dominant player, and every project is unique and different. We're going after a small core of repeatable customers. So it's a relationship built with them. So by doing an owner's alliance rather than a franchise, where a lot of the support is given peer-to-peer rather than top-down, our operations live rule-free and royalty-free. A lot of people have joined Signworld not only because they like the sign business, but they like the extra flexibility and the extra attributes that our owner's alliance gave them. A lot of times people confuse us with printers. Printers do the paper printed handheld items, the brochures, catalogs, business cards, envelopes. That is an equipment heavy, stagnant industry. Profit margins are eroded, and please don't confuse us with that. We're doing pictures, words, graphics, and logos just like they are, but we're doing it to the sign part of the business. Unusual shapes, unusual materials, different, as small as a postage stamp to the entire side of the building. And while the internet is our best friend of bringing leads to us, it's really a consultative sales process because each project is custom. But it's really the screwing it to the post, gluing it to the wall, putting it on the vehicle that the customer can't order on the internet. It takes that consultative. So please don't confuse us with printers. They do the commodity items, we do the custom items. Ken, we're ready for your first slideshow. First slide is up.
Okay. As Jack said, we're Signworld business partners. We're not a franchise. We're a business owners alliance. We're family. We're friends. We're full service sign companies. We are today an essential services business. We are all open for business and doing business and helping out every way that we can. We charge no royalties. It's a one-time buy-in. We have no rules. Starts with a name. You can name this whatever you want to name. This is a manufacturing business. You are manufacturing a tangible product from raw materials and giving it to your customer. So we're looking for people who like to have a business where they're going to make things. 98% of all the signs in the world are indoors. The average life is 30 days. They change every month. In December, they say Christmas, and January half off. Hopefully, we're going to see Mother's Day signs and Father's Day signs and 4th of July and so on. You start with yourself and one employee. This is an experienced sign maker. We will help you find them. We will interview them. We will test them. We'll send them down the street to another Signworld owner to evaluate them. And once you hire them, they can go to all of our training programs, no extra charge. As you grow your business, you'll add more employees. This is a one location business. If you outgrow your space, you just move a few blocks away to double the space. It's business to business. Your customers are all the other businesses in town, no matter how big, no matter how small. Your hours posted on your door are 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Your customers do not expect you to be there at night and on the weekends. 80% of your gross sales will come more than likely from your top 20 customers. Total investment all in, $210,000. That includes $30,000 of working capital. Signworld's been in business since 1988, 32 years, and we've never had any form of legal action. We're very proud of that track record. We've never ever been sued by anyone. We've never ever sued anyone. We've never been to mediation, arbitration, never had a formal complaint filed against us. It's got to tell you something. It's got to tell you something about how we take care of our 346 owners today. You're going to receive outstanding support, not only from our corporate staff, but our over 340 owners. As I said earlier, we're family, we're friends. We work on projects together and split the profits. We share employees, share supplies, get together, talk story. We have Signworld owners go on vacation together, but you'll never compete with another Signworld owner. What sets Signworld apart? No rules, no royalties, weekly sales training, and 50 to 90% of your new business can come from the internet if you follow the program. That means you're not chasing the customer. You're not out cold calling. Your customer is chasing you. Owners do not make signs. You'll be taught how to make them. You'll always know how to make them. But your job is to take care of the customer. We are the commercial sign company. We are located in the light industrial area, the kind of a building with a giant roll-up garage door. We are not these retail sign stores, the poster and banner shops that you see in the strip centers, the shopping centers, and out on the main street. As a Signworld owner, you'll have no walk-in traffic. Instead, you as the owner will go out on 2 or 3 appointments every day to the bigger customer, the bigger project. Some of our locations, Don Conklin, we need a new pic of your new location.
As soon as we get it decorated, we certainly will, Ken. That's the plan.
As soon as you get the new sign up front. Customers, the biggest and the best. There's a myth out there. People think signs come from headquarters. That's not entirely true. These days, the artwork, the specifications, and the color codes are all sent in an email to the various locations and individual franchisees around the world. Those franchisees in turn just send that email, forward that email to their local sign company down the street, which could be you. We have Signworld owners that work with every one of these companies, not corporate headquarters, but the individual locations in their neighborhood. Where do we see signs today? Floor graphics are becoming more and more popular. Wall graphics that change every week. More wall graphics. LED signs, lightweight, battery operated, move the sign, change the graphics in minutes. In-store promotional type signage. Trade show signage. Post-it note. The bed is a giant Post-it note. Peel it off, move it to the other side of the building. Outdoor signage. Billboards. 85-foot tall grain silo. Real estate. indoor high-quality canvas prints, vehicle wraps, on average 25% of the business. Disneyland buses, they change them every 6 months. Airplanes, no problem. It's a fun business, ladies and gentlemen. Every day is different. Every project is different. That's what keeps you going. All right. I lost my mouse. Okay. We good, Jack? Back on screen?
Go ahead.
All right. Well, let's open it up to questions. So Linda Russell, come off of mute, Linda.
Okay.
If you want to go on camera, we'd love to see you, but go ahead with a question.
I guess my question is, so if I buy into the Signworld business, I've purchased all my equipment, you're going to help me get an employee. How do you start on day one getting customers and building your business?
Okay. Alex Maurer, did you have business before you even opened up? What did it look like day one?
I did have some business before we opened up. I utilized other sign companies to help me make my signs before my equipment arrived. But I think it's important to start with marketing, make sure your website is up and running well in advance if possible. And really just start working through, I worked through my list of contacts that I had built up over 20 years in advertising, just to get people in line, let them know what I'm doing.
Don Conklin, Buford, Georgia. Did you have business before you even opened up? What was it like day one?
We did have business. We were pre-marketing. And then after we started opening up our doors, it was a lot of networking, Chamber of Commerce meetings, things like that to get the word out about being open.
And Ben King, how'd it go for you?
Yeah, we had business, but my website went live about a month before actually I was in my physical location. So like Alex, I leveraged some other Signworld owners here in the Twin Cities to get a couple of those projects done. And then from there, it was a combination of BNI, web meetings, leveraging our web leads, and then leveraging your network and your contacts.
Jack, 25 years ago, how'd it go for you?
Let me answer from the training perspective now. In the 3 months that it takes from signing contract to doors open while you're working on getting a facility built out and going through training, your marketing starts the very day you sign a contract with 2 goals in mind. One, build a book of customers and knowing that other sign owners can make things for you if the customer can't wait. We're going to give you 56 different things to do in training that can create that activity, whether it's contacts you had previously, whether it's joining the chamber, the networking group, the Rotary Club, getting your website built, on and on. A lot of activities are done to create that lead flow and activity.
Okay, thanks.
Jerry, you're up next. Come off of mute. Up in the top right corner of your screen, Jerry, is a little box to clip on to come off of mute. Jerry, are you there?
Jerry, why don't you type your question in the chat? We'll come back to it.
Jerry's off of mute now. You're there, Jerry. We can, if you. Oh. Rob, are you there, Rob?
I am. Thanks for the panel for giving some answers today. I appreciate the time that you guys are giving to this. I guess more around day one or maybe even first 6 months of kind of managing your staff. And then can you guys comment on any challenges you guys had with management as, you know, in I'll say the first couple of years of business? Thank you.
Alex, staff management challenges?
One piece of advice I was given, and it was really rang true when I started, was really vet your first employee. Employees are not always going to work out for a variety of reasons. It may be your management style or some outside factor, but I'd be very, very competitive in terms of what you're paying them to get the person that you feel really is going to fit well, and that will help you really make you have a good start.
Don Conklin, first employees?
No, I mean, Signworld did a great job helping me get my first employee on board. That really helped me out from that standpoint. And I think they still do that on a regular basis. But, you know, ultimately it's a people business, and getting to the number of employees we have to continue to vet them, make sure they have our values, and continue to go through the process. It is a people business at the end of the day.
Ben King?
Yeah, to reiterate what Alex said, I think paying them what, you know, if you find that person that you like and they want a little bit more, if they're really good, they'll more than make up for whatever that $4,000 over the course of a year, or, you know, that's $2 an hour. So I think don't be afraid if you find that right person to maybe go beyond what you initially thought you were going to pay that. It's a very competitive market, or was 4 years ago, and it was 4 months ago. And then I would say that to reiterate, it's a people business. The challenges of managing people are not unique to Signworld. You're not unique to the sign business. And so that part you need to be, go into it with eyes wide open. But when you find great people, you know, I haven't gone into the shop in 3 weeks, and my business is still humming because I've got 3 employees right now, all working, 1 at the shop, 2 at home, and they're all working together, and things are humming because we got the right people in place.
Jack Werner?
There's a workforce out there. We're looking for a journeyman that's made a career out of this. They have the graphic arts education, they have the artistic talent, they've got 5, 10, 15 years of experience. They can design the sign, they can print the sign, they can assemble a sign, they can install a sign, they can carry it from concept to completion. We'll help you find them, we'll help test them. The workforce is out there.
Mohan, come off of mute, Mohan. Do you have a question for us? Hello, Mohan. Eric, are you there, Eric? Come off of mute. Go ahead. We can't hear you, Eric.
It's Mohan. Can you hear me?
Mohan. Yes, we can hear you, Mohan. Go ahead.
Good. Sorry for the mess up yesterday. I couldn't join you. Okay. My question is about get to the break even. How long it takes to get to the break even?
On a month-to-month basis, Alex Maurer, how many months did it take you to break even cash on cash?
I believe it was it was probably the 4th month in business.
And how long before you took your first paycheck?
Oh, probably 7th.
Don Conklin, how many months did it take you to break even cash on cash?
2nd month,
How many months before you took your first paycheck?
6 months.
Ben King, how many months to break even?
I was in my 2nd month, and then I finally took some money out in the 7th month.
Jack Werner.
My 1st month and my 6th month. Average for Signworld owners is probably 5 to 6 months to cash positive, 7, 8 months to first paycheck.
Good. Very good.
Eric, are you there, Eric? Eric Van Eyck.
Eric has typed his question. He says, can you please provide your rough net margin, including owner's salary? Thank you.
Say that again, Sheree.
Can you please provide your rough net margin, including owner's salary?
Okay. So Alex Maurer, at the end of the year in, year out, what is their net profit, net cash flow to the owner percentage?
So last year was 20%.
Okay. Don Conklin?
26.5% last year.
Ben King?
I think it was right in the middle of that. I was about 22.5, 23%.
And Jack Werner?
I was very consistent at 25%. Most Signworld loans would be between 20 and 30%. Some mature in business and running very lean and consistent, plus 30%.
Okay. Nate, come off of mute. Go ahead.
Oh, how are you? Just my question is, what skills are really necessary to be successful in this business as a business owner?
Good question. Alex, why are you successful? What are your skills?
Well, I think Don mentioned this earlier. It is a people business, and I think customer service is incredibly important for us. I think that's why we've been able to have 70 to 80% retention in our business and have orders keep coming through from the same companies because we're consistent with our customer service and our pricing.
Don Conklin, why are you successful?
Because I have Teresa working with me. I think that's probably the
Nobody would disagree with that.
but I would say that it's just a positive attitude and a not unwilling to take risk, and then it's speed of service. I mean, we turn things as quickly as we possibly can, and it's that sense of urgency that we hire for, and that all of our employees have.
Ben King, why are you successful?
It's a people business, and I like getting in front of clients and helping them solve problems and deliver get the signage that they need. And then I think to Don's point, you're going to separate yourself from other sign companies by your customer service, whether that's speed, communication, whatever that thing is. That's what allows, I feel, King Signs to be successful, and I think of it as at the expense of other sign companies.
Jack Werner, why were you successful?
Most sign companies are not owned by business people trying to run a sign company. They're owned by sign makers that have grown to trying to run a sign business. They bought some equipment after having the thing. So the project management skill set, the diligence to deliver what you promise, building relationships with customers, and the swagger of confidence. Customers are going to buy from who they believe in, and you've got to exude that confidence.
Okay. Jack, are you going to show some slideshow?
I will show a couple of slideshows here that are going to go on while we keep talking. There's no audio to them. The first one is showing you some of the operations inside and out, so you can see what facilities look like. The second one is going to show you what is a sign, both what we make in-house, what we subcontract, and then some unusual things. The third slideshow is going to show you some of our Wall of Fame projects that Signworld owners have completed to show you the scope and complexity of the variety of projects they do.
Andrew is next. He's typed in a question, how do you do your pricing? So I'll start out by saying, first of all, we give you a very elaborate, very expensive software program and all the training that you want on this pricing software. But Alex, tell us about pricing.
I think what I would add to that is you'll find that while you're up and running, you'll get a sense for your own market and what your competition is charging, what a good square foot or linear foot price is by a variety of products, and then you'll price it accordingly. But the system that Ken mentions is critical up front.
Don Conklin, tell us about pricing.
Absolutely, your Corebridge pricing system, that's a tool that's given to you by Signworld, is critical. The other part of it is just knowing your customers and knowing what you can charge the customers.
Ben King, pricing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you come out of training with an idea of where your market would be. I found the other Signworld owners in the Minneapolis market to be helpful and straightforward with what they were charging. So I think I went into a couple of jobs right away, kind of in the right ballpark. And then you learn with each job, with each experience, you learn, man, I would need to charge more for that, or you know what, I probably could be a little bit leaner on that, if particularly if you lose out on some bids. So I think it's always evolving. You're always assessing it, but there's a lot of network and a lot of support there to help you.
Jack, the slideshow is stuck.
Okay. There's a very elaborate system, as Ken mentioned. You're basically charging for the materials that you're using. You're charging for the time that your staff is putting into it and the expertise to get it done. So it'll create all that pricing matrix for you and show what you're showing.
Mark Valinsky. Mark, come off of mute.
Hi there. That was actually just a question I typed in to the chat about pricing, but I can ask a follow-up in terms of, I assume the signs are given some kind of warranty or some kind of protection, to the buyer. Maybe you guys can talk about that a bit. I know you would service them if necessary.
Mark, we're just going to do one question and then move on to the next. We'll come back when we get to the end to your question. Would that be okay?
That's fine.
Okay, Jeff Farr. Jeff, come off of mute.
Hi, thanks. This is a great opportunity. My question's along the lines of the first question that was asked. Really looking back, are there things that you could have done and wished you would have done more of or better, or just so that you're better prepared day one? Any other insights you can give there as you went through the trainings and other things that you did? What could have you done to shorten your your day one opening?
Alex Mauer, what have you done differently in the beginning?
Yeah.
I would say that I would have had my website up sooner and been do more pre-marketing.
Don Conklin, what would you have done differently in the beginning?
Exactly what Alex just said. So I would pre-market more and I would go ahead and get the word out earlier.
Ben King?
My website I was fine with. I don't know if I leveraged my network as fast as I could have. You'd be surprised how many people that are in your sphere that know somebody that needs signs or need signs themselves, and I didn't leverage that as well as I could have.
Jack Werner?
I think the one thing we hear from most Signworld owners is they wish they had done it sooner in life, that they hadn't taken that one last job trying to push themselves a little bit farther and just taken the leap of faith and gotten themselves started in business even sooner.
Steve Noth, come off of mute, Steve. Go ahead.
So what is the point of when you're going to hire a new employee? How do you decide that?
Good question. Alex Mauer, when do you hire the next employee?
I don't necessarily go by a certain metric or financial metric. It's really about the amount of business and where I want to be. And I look forward to how Don answers this, because I know this was a question posed to him at one of our annual trade shows, and he answered it really well. But what I would take away from it is don't always base it on the metric. It's look ahead to how much business, how much you want to grow, and just take that risk.
Don Conklin, when do you hire the next employee?
We always have an ad out. We're always looking for the next employee. When we find a good employee, we're going to hire them, and then we're going to go out and generate more activity to support that employee. There's more than enough business out there to support lots of employees, and we'd rather have more people on staff than less people on staff.
And Ben King, when do you make the decision to hire the next employee?
Yeah, I mean, I think you get a little. Early on, I got it where we were falling behind on some things, whether it was design or production or quoting, and so depending on what we were falling behind on, I looked for that person. I think, as Alex said, don't be afraid to get aggressive, and Don said that, like, hire somebody that you find that's great, and then make them keep them busy. And then I think as you get over a year, you're going to start to see what your market does. I mean, we get obviously a lot busier here in Minnesota in the summer. And so in my third summer, I hired that person in the spring, just because I knew our big months were coming up. And if I wanted to grow, I needed to take advantage of those warmer months. So you kind of learn some things as you go, but yeah.
Jack Werner, your thoughts?
There's really two schools of thought. You either hire based on the volume you're at, average is about 200 to 250 per employee. If you're waiting until you're busy and you're trying to find the next person and desperate for it, the other school of thought is to hire when the talent's available. I had more of an open door policy. I knew I couldn't get to my economic number myself in 1 or 2 or 3. So when the right one came along, I hired them regardless, and then I delegated out to make sure they were all production centers for me.
Hey, Ken, one last point. I would say, as an owner, if you're working more than 45 or 50 hours a week, you need to hire another employee. That's kind of one of my other schools of thought as well.
Thank you, Don. Philip Sutton. Philip, come off of mute. Go ahead.
Hey guys, thank you. My question is, how did you guys finance this starting up, seeing as this is it's going to be more capital intensive than some of the other opportunities that I'm looking at? Appreciate it.
Alex Mauer, how did you finance your startup?
Small bit of savings, but mostly an SBA loan.
Don Conklin, how did you finance it?
A 401k rollover.
And Ben King?
I liquidated some investment accounts.
And Jack?
I didn't have a 401. I wish I had. I would have used that. 90% of owners use 401. I use other savings. Real quick, Phil, there are cheaper options out there, but there's 5 things to consider. One, it's a one-time payment, no royalties. You'll never need 2 locations, so you're not reinvesting and buying a second franchise location. Relatively quick break even. You don't have as much red ink. An unusual number of owners making big 6-figure numbers after a couple of years. And then the resale equity value. Don, you recently had an independent evaluation of your business and building. What's your resale value at this point currently if you were to sell?
It's between $4.5 and $5 million.
So it might be the most reasonably priced investment, Phil, instead of the most expensive.
Tommaso, come off of mute. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes. My question is, when hiring a new employee, a designer, a sign maker, probably the first one, is it better to hire a more artistic oriented one, if ever having a own unique style in designing, creating sign is something useful or eventually an advantage in this kind of business, or is better to choose a more technical and methodical oriented one? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, Alex Maurer, are you looking for the artist or the production man or the production guy?
I'd say the production guy. I worked with very many talented graphic designers in advertising, and I do pull them in once in a while, but that's not really what you need. You don't need, I'll put it, quote unquote, pretty pictures. You need someone who's really going to get down to brass tacks and look at it from a production standpoint.
Don Conklin, are you looking for the artist or the production guy?
You want someone that can be able to make signs and run your equipment and do the artwork, but the artwork is the second thing. You need someone that's going to be able to make you signs and make you money.
Ben King, your thoughts?
I have nothing else to add. Those are both perfectly said.
Jack Werner?
It's a balance between the two, and you're hopefully finding someone that has both sides of that. But if you had to lean one way, the production side.
Okay. Tommaso, for the high-end artwork, you can always farm that out overnight and get results back. Lots of people that do that. Kevin,
Okay.
come off.
Okay,
Kevin.
thank you.
Kevin, come off of mute. Hello, Kevin. Faisal, go ahead, Kevin. You're off of mute. Go ahead.
Yes, I was just curious as to, obviously the sign industry, there's a lot of different types of signs. And I was wondering how long it took you guys to find your niche in the market, and how did you streamline that process?
Alex Maurer?
We haven't found a niche, and I'm fine with that. We chase or we do what we bring in, and that's a variety of different types of signs. I think it keeps us more nimble and shows our breadth. And we can't make all the signs here, but we have a lot of partner firms that we rely on, so we can tackle really any type of project.
Okay, so you're a generalist and you'll take anything on. Don Conklin, how about you?
We don't specialize in a type of sign, but we specialize more in multiple location, multiple tenant type of businesses, like franchises, national franchises, national apartment complex chains, national property management companies. So we're doing stuff multiple times in multiple locations across multiple markets.
Okay. And Ben King?
Yeah, similar to Alex, we're still pretty much a generalist. We don't have a niche. That may change, but I like where we're at now in the sense of gaining a lot of clients month over month and building that base, and then kind of letting the work, including the repeat work, determine what that niche could be.
Okay, Jack, your thoughts?
My niche was, because of my background coming out of the restaurant world, most of my customers were restaurant chains and retail chains. And while we did a lot of everything as a generalist, more of our marketing was focused to that, because there were similar customers, the projects were similar.
Okay, Faisal, come off of mute. Faisal?
Yeah, hi. Thank you for the chance. My question is about the pre-sales because some of the owners have some background in sales or operations, and for people who have no background in these type of directions, is there any training do we get to do pre-sales before you open the location?
Sales and marketing training every Monday, Faisal, for as long as you want to go to class.
I see.
And with a group of 15, 16 other new owners. Alex Mauer, would you consider yourself a salesman in the past? How did the sales training come for you?
No, I wouldn't consider myself a true extrovert or a sales type of person, but I do like people. And one thing that I excelled at in my previous career was customer service. So we were able to grow once I got to know the clients and their needs. We were able to grow that business for the agency. So I'm comfortable speaking with clients even in a setting where I don't know them. So I have no formal sales training.
Don Conklin, your thoughts?
I think that between Jack and Ken, you get a plethora of sales training in the first 2 years, and it's part of the program. And if you attend weekly to their sales calls, if you have a lack of sales experience, they more than make up for that with their experience. Ken's been doing it for several decades, as has Jack, and they have a very broad wealth of knowledge that they're willing to share with you.
Ben King?
Yeah, I'd say the one thing to add is that you will get put into a mastermind group of owners that are at a similar part or started within a month or two of you, and that weekly or bi-weekly call, you gain a lot even from just hearing what maybe your peers are doing across the country that you can quickly duplicate or mimic and to lead to some sales. But there's a lot of resources out there.
Okay, to my panel of owners, we're going to need shorter answers, please. We still have 15 people to go and about 15 minutes left. So John, come off of mute, John. Hello, John. George Matz. George, come off of mute. To unmute yourself, folks, go to your screen where it has your name, and in the top right corner, 3 little dots in the blue box. Talit, are you there? Talit, come off of mute. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Right. My question really is that my plan is to migrate to Canada, right? And that's where I would like to set up this business. So my question is, I walk into this market where I obviously don't have the contacts. So I would rely greatly, at least in initial stages, on the internet, generating business from the internet. What would be your thoughts about that? I mean, it's because I'm very unfamiliar with the market I come in. And how is Signworld going to be supporting me?
Okay. Alex Mauer, what % of your new business comes from the internet where the customer is chasing you?
I'd say between 40 and 50%.
Okay. And so all you have to do is tell them you'll be right over and show up on time?
Yes.
Don Conklin, what % of your new business comes from the internet where the customer is chasing you?
50 to 80%.
Okay. And Ben King?
This year I'm at 71% from the internet.
And Jack, your thoughts?
Ben, go back to year 1. How much networking and other contacts did you rely on, and how much was internet driven?
I did almost no networking or leveraging my contacts. So I got probably 90%, 95% of my business from the internet.
So Talat, while some Signworld owners have other business contacts, most don't. So they're relying on the internet, and they're relying on networking through the community and the training we're teaching how to join the chamber, the networking group, the Rotary Club. And back to real quick to Faisal's question, 90% of owners have never done sales before. This is not a sales gig. Your competition is not a salesman. It's a consulting gig.
We have another John, no last name. Come off of mute, John.
Yes.
Go ahead.
How does Signworld get paid if they don't have any franchising fees or royalties?
Jack Werner, how does Signworld make money?
We make a little money in the front end. There's a little room for profit. We feel it's fair. We're only going to charge it once. We then run leaner than a franchise. We have nowhere near the overhead and expense of a franchise. Tabulate and taking royalties is expensive. It's not all profit. Not everybody pays the royalties, and the attorneys are expensive. Our contract is 6 pages written in English, so our filing fees with each state is minuscule compared to a franchise filing that big, heavy FTD every year. And then we don't have field reps enforcing the rule book. The owners are bought into peer support. So we run with a smaller staff, smaller headquarters, running lean. And then we hope as you enhance your business with more equipment, we have an opportunity to bid on that equipment. So someone in the front, lean in the middle, and equipment sales in the back end, we're a healthy solve without a royalty. Don't feel sorry for us.
Todd Durham. Todd, come off of mute. Go ahead.
Or Ken, yeah, maybe just to follow up on that one, Jack, then what percentage of the sign order owners are ordering from Signworld moving forward? So as they need more and more equipment, what's the percentage breakdown of the equipment they order from Signworld?
You know, number one, there's no rules. They do not have to buy from us. It's only that we're competitive and we've done a good job of supporting them. You know, I can't give you an exact percentage, but with owners buying CNC routers, engraving equipment, flatbed printers, channel lettering equipment, extra printers, extra laminators, bucket trucks, we sell enough every year that we're okay.
Omer, come off of mute. Hashmi.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Omer.
Hi, thank you for taking my question. I wanted to know about, is there a territory protection normally in a regular conventional franchise? But how do you protect, for example, in a territory there are multiple business owners coming in?
Jack Werner, territory.
Our territory is the opposite of a franchise territory. In the franchise world, they're going to give you a section city and you have to stay within. If you want more business, buy another territory. In Signworld, it's for the opposite purpose. It's to restrict us from overpopulating the market. We'll help you find a building in a zip code that's not claimed by somebody else. Using US Census data, we'll determine how many businesses are in that zip code and the surrounding zip codes. Everybody will have the same 3,000 businesses, but out of that, you're able to have regional and national customers. Having a unique name means you can follow the customer. I think each Signworld owner here, Ben, Alex, and Don will all tell you they've got regional and national customers. So they're not just working in the same market. And then as they mature in business, most of the businesses are coming from repeatable customers. So they're just not competing with each other. Don, you've got 22 Signworld owners in Atlanta. Do you feel competitive with each other? Don?
No, actually, no. I actually had one Signworld owner drop stuff off at my shop today for me to print for him.
And Alex, you've got other Signworld owners in Minneapolis. Do you compete?
We have 5 owners total in the Pittsburgh market, I believe, and we don't. In fact, we in some cases work together. One of the sign owners helped me out with my first project initially.
Ben?
Yeah, I more often than not, we're collaborative and help each other out. There's been one project in 4 years that I've known that we both were bidding on. So, doesn't happen.
Brian Roto. Brian, come off of mute. Hello, Brian. Tunde Dada, come off of mute. Go ahead.
I have no questions.
No question. Okay. Asset 440. Asset 440. Come off of mute. Todd M. Or Ted. Ted M. Ted.
Hey, how are you?
Great, go ahead.
Good. Hey, I guess one of the things that has been a little bit unclear to me is if you take an approach of that's been discussed of kind of getting started, hiring one person, and then when people get busy, growing a business, what do you think if somebody were approaching this as their primary job, what do you think the level of business is that you can do in kind of a major market with really only one employee? Like how I get the margin structure is somewhere between 20 and 30 points, but what do you think the level of business is that a established business can do with one employee?
Alex Mauer?
Well, I guess define major market. I don't know that Pittsburgh is, but with one employee, I think our second year, right before we hired our second, we were probably at 400 in gross sales.
Okay.
Don Conklin?
Did I lose you guys? I don't know. Did I lose you?
Oh, yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay. You can do $2 to $3 million one employee. Just depends on how you do it. If you want to outsource all the production, you can just go ahead and manage all the customers for you, be a project manager. But if you want to do the Signworld model with one person, you can easily do $400,000 or $500,000.
Ben King?
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I would just say that by not hiring, you're holding yourself back. You know, the model is built to increase your staff, and at some point, maybe increase your capabilities, and you're going to see your revenue go up by more than your payroll expense.
Jack Werner?
While you're starting with one to minimize expenses, your goal is to get to number 2 and 3 and 4 as quickly as you can, so you're not dependent on just that one. So the one employee is a getting started model. It's not a long-term model.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
George Schaff. George, come off of mute.
Yes, my question is, how has the current economic environment affected Signworld businesses, and has it given you a reason to rethink the amount of startup capital you're recommending to startups?
Alex Mauer, how has the current situation affected your overall business?
Well, business is down. I don't know many companies where business is up right now, but we're positive about it. I did not lay any of my employees off. We had a backlog, so we continue to work, and we were proactive. I've been talking to my clients all the way through, and business is already starting to come back. So I'm very positive about it.
Okay, so you did not have to lay off any employees, and you're keeping them busy. Don Conklin?
We have 100% full staff. We've actually hired someone during this downturn. Revenues have gone a little bit dormant because people can't accept installs, but we truly believe we will hit our annual target, if not beat our annual target, by the time December rolls around.
Ben King, as you already said, everybody's working.
Yeah, and the only thing I'd add is I think I see an opportunity to gain market share, because I don't think every sign company is going to be in the positive position that I am.
Jack Werner?
I would comment that anybody in this call is still looking at joining Signworld, still has to go through the 3-month ramp-up period. By the time you're open, we're hopefully back to economy of what we need to be. And as owners are saying, there's a lot of things that ride right through this economy. We're going to lose some competitors that didn't know how to ride it out. There's going to be a pent-up demand. So we really don't believe the numbers need to be any different.
Okay. Dan Werner is a staff member listening in. I don't think he has a question. So H. Raman, are you there? Come on, go
yes,
ahead.
I'm here. Actually, I have an idea, but my question is, right, how do you get the, online I read that the Signworld provides the leads, but from the leads, how do you actually get the customers into the business? I mean, what the process you follow? Obviously, you have to convince the customer, you have to send a proposal, right? And or maybe you have to present in front of the customers also. So how do you convince and get the customers?
Okay, Alex Mauer, you get a phone call or an email from a prospective customer that you've never met. How do you handle it?
Well, it's important to understand what they need, and really only then can we give them a sound estimate. But one thing that I often do is talk about our experience on projects such as the ones they're calling about, so that's how I would begin the call.
Don Conklin?
Understand their needs, give them excellent customer service, provide them an excellent product.
Ben King?
Ditto.
Jack Werner?
It's a very consultative process. The customers that you're connecting with already have the need. What you're offering is your project management skill to juggle their project. In most cases, you're writing a proposal so they understand the dynamics of the project and the cost, so they can put together a purchase order. They can give you a deposit. It's not a convince them to buy from you.
This is Ken Kindt. My answer would be, if you're a brand new owner and you're not really busy and you don't have much to do, you just say to the person, I'll be right over. I'll be there in an hour. If they go and call 3 or 4 other sign companies in town, they're going to hear answers like, I can't come till next week. So if you show up first in and ask for the business, you got a good chance of getting it. Our next person just has a phone number, 727-439-3100. Would you like to ask a question? Come off of mute. Okay, in the Q&A, we have from Becky, who do you consider your competitors in each of your markets? Alex Maurer, who are your big competitors?
Oh, there are mid-sized companies out there. There are some smaller ones. It really could be anyone out there, but I don't really focus on that. I actually turn that on its head and work with 3 to 4 other sign companies that do work for me on types of signs that I can't. So I look at them more as partners than competition. There's plenty of business out there.
Okay, Don Conklin, who are your
competitors out there? Never worry about the competitors. We have enough business to say grace over, and we're still looking to take more business away from the other competitors.
Ben King, who are your big competitors?
Just like Alex said, there's some small sign shops, medium-sized sign shops that you're competing against when people are getting multiple bids, but you again work probably in conjunction with other sign shops as much as any, as often as you compete against them. So I don't really worry about the competition.
Jack?
Ken, just so you're aware, there are some questions in the Q&A and other questions in the chat. There's 2 different boxes at the bottom that there's somebody.
Got it.
Most sign companies are independently owned. They're not proactive. So just you're reaching out and being aggressive with customers and being responsive. You're not going to worry about the competition. There's competition out there, but we believe it's their ineptness and our effectiveness that's really the difference maker.
Okay, Andrew Zacharias wants to know, what % of your business is manufactured in-house? What % is subcontracted? Alex Maurer?
40 in-house, 60 out.
Don Conklin?
80-20, 80 in-house, 20 outside.
Ben King?
I'm at about 60-40 in-house production, but those numbers flipped when it comes to revenue.
And Jack Werner?
I was about a 75-25, got into bigger products where I was probably a 50-50, brought in the equipment to make those bigger products, and I ended up about 90-10.
Faisal asked, how would one pre-market before opening? I think we answered that. Launch your website as soon as you can, and join a couple of organizations, and go to networking meetings. And tell everybody you know what your new gig is and ask them to throw you a bone. Omer wants to know any experiences dealing with tech companies and their sign requirements. Any insights on how do you reach them? I would think they're no different than any other company. Alex?
No, it's not. They're not any different.
Don Conklin?
I would agree with that. They're not any different.
Ben King?
Good, agree.
Okay. Jerry asks, personal / equipment to install the product. So Alex Maurer, what percent of your business do you install, and do you have installation equipment?
Probably 30 to 40% we install. We have a variety of partner firms that have bucket trucks that go up higher than a ladder, things that we just don't do. So we never have a problem finding the right partner firm to do the work.
Okay. Don Conklin, how do you handle installation?
If it's in the Atlanta area, we'll install it ourselves. If it's outside the Atlanta area, we'll find a subcontractor, most likely a Signworld operator like Alex, for example. Alex has installed signs for us.
And Ben King?
Yeah, I'm much more similar to Alex. We have a couple vendors that we work with, and I really push to leverage those vendors, even at times when there's installs that we could do, because of where my team's at. I want to move on to that next client and chase that next job, even if it means taking a little bit of hit of the margin on the install, because I'm growing my business versus worried so much about just making as much as possible on maybe one job or two jobs.
Jack, I think we're out of time, and I think the remaining questions have been pretty well answered or pretty well touched on at different times during our meeting today. Do you want to take over?
I can do that. And we know you can all have more and more questions, but we do want to respect the time of these Signworld owners that have given up even their busy day. So for Don and for Alex and for Ben, we appreciate you being here. You're part of the Signworld family. We appreciate you. For those of you on the call, we hope you've enjoyed this. Hope it's been helpful. We'll have another webinar just like this 3 weeks from today. Hope you can attend that. If you've been talking to Ken, get back to him and have more conversation. Dan, talk to him and myself. Know that this is a big process, and know that as the economy opens up again, there's going to be a big demand for signs out there as businesses need to reinvent themselves and remarket themselves. So we look forward to hoping to help you with this and in your journey in life. Have a great day, everybody. Stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you.